7 o'clock according to my phone, so I'm going to call this meeting to order. I apologize for my appearance. I fell on a parking lot on Tuesday, and I'm not much to look at to start with, but this didn't help. So anyway, bear with me. Well, I've got to get this so. All right. Would you like to read the?
Do we start with the Pledge of Allegiance?
What? Oh yeah, we better do a Pledge of Allegiance first. I'll get yelled at by somebody. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I always wonder what the difference in a republic and a democracy are.
Oh, Sociology 101.
Yeah, well, I failed that one.
I skipped it.
I think sociology classes are changing these days.
Yeah, I'll bet.
From what I
Okay, young man, would you like to read what we're doing today?
Well, I will say, there should be a guide in one of those folders for you,
Yeah.
about the next two meetings. Because I think we have to,
You have to read about public hearings and all of that.
we have to read some stuff into the order of this one.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to welcome you again and introduce myself. Welcome to the meeting of the St. Charles County Board of Adjustment. I am the board's chairman, Jerry Prinster. The duties of the board include hearing appeals to vary the zoning requirements to provide relief where the conditions of a property prevent development consistent with the intent or purpose of the applicable zoning regulations, and to render decisions on appeals for an action of the direction of the director of the Division of Planning and Zoning when it has been alleged that a permit has been incorrectly issued or denied. The board members here are citizen volunteers who are appointed by the county executive with county council approval. County staff members are also present to assist with these proceedings and to try to keep me in line with what I'm supposed to read. All right, this time I ask that we all mute your phones, mine included, or any other electrical devices. During the meeting, each case will begin with a presentation by the applicant, which is typically limited to 5 minutes. County staff will then have an opportunity to provide relevant information for the board to consider. Any written communications from the public will be entered into the record. The board will then take public testimony relevant to whether or not granting of the requested variance would be appropriate. All persons planning to speak at tonight's meeting must first complete a speaker's card and hand it in to the recording secretary. Blank cards are located on the podium. Each speaker approaching the podium should submit their card, state their name, and be sworn in. Testimony is typically limited to 5 minutes per speaker. Once testimony has concluded, I will close the public hearing and no further input from the audience will be taken. A board member will move to approve the application so that discussion and a vote may take place. As required by county ordinance, at least 4 of the 5 board members must vote in the affirmative. For tonight's purposes, by the way, since we have four committee people, it takes a unanimous vote. If the variance request is approved, the applicant may proceed after the proper permits have been issued. Any decision of the Board of Zoning Adjustments may be appealed to the County Council within 14 working days after notification of the Board of Adjustments decision has been mailed. The Unified Development Ordinance and zoning maps for St. Charles County are hereby entered into the record. All right, now you're up. Well, wait a minute, I'm supposed to open the public hearing. I can't follow my own directions. Secretary, would you please read there?
You bet.
Thank you.
Variance number VAR 24-05, variance request for 1 Vicksburg Station. Application number I just read, VAR 2405. Property owner Noel Buckingham and Kristen Buckingham. Applicant Richard Veit, thank you. Veit.
He answers to anything too.
The variance requested a request to vary section 405.415.f.3 of the ordinances of St. Charles County to allow for a 60-foot wide driveway instead of a width no greater than 10 feet beyond the width of the garage, up to a maximum of 40 feet, and the driveway not perpendicular to the street in accordance with section 405.415.f.3. Property is zoned R1E, single-family residential district with a planned unit develop overlay district. Parcel area is 0.53 acres. The location is 1 Vicksburg Station, located at the intersection of Vicksburg Station and Heritage Landing, County Council District 7, parcel account number 45000B000.
Thank you very much. Is the property owner, our applicant, or representative here to speak on this appeal?
Yes, Richard Veit will speak to start with for
Okay.
the applicant.
Have you
Okay.
signed a card and,
Yes, I have.
okay, thank you.
Swear him in.
Yep. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Good, thank you.
I'm
Please
used as an
state
officer
your
of
name.
court. Richard Veit, I'm attorney for the Buckinghams, the applicants in this case. Thank you for your time. This doesn't work if people don't show up and serve in this roles. So I want to talk briefly about rules and why we have rules, and to make it very clear that we're not asking you to break any rules. They say rules are made to be broken. We say rules are made to be adjusted in the case of the Board of Adjustment, but you have your own rules for adjustment, the zoning variance criteria. And I'm going to actually point out that we're really not asking you to break any rules by granting this variance. Page 9 of your sheet, I made a copy of it, and I am so grateful for the staff that they took an aerial photo, because this is awesome for what I want to do. I wish I had done it, but I can't take any credit for this. So real quickly, I just want to, I labeled some stuff so if I start talking about stuff, we know what the heck I'm talking about. Obviously, A is the property in question. It's already circled in red. That's the Buckingham's property. 1 I just used to refer to Heritage Lane. What I want to point out on Heritage Lane is that's where the driveway comes out on, but Heritage Lane has no parking on it. Okay? So that line across there, Heritage Lane has no parking is allowed on either side of that. Okay? Number 2 is Vicksburg Station, and that allows parking on it. And number 3 is, I just want to point out an interesting alternative, and we're not asking for this because we don't think it's a good idea, is to provide more space. I believe that the Buckinghams could have done a driveway that circled in front of their house and came out at about the spot on 3, and had a skinnier driveway, but it would take up a lot of space and would create an inconvenience to the individual on C. So, first thing I want to point out is that the width of the driveway does not take any parking spaces away from anybody. So that's no harm to anybody. But the variance is because of the uniqueness of this property. You'll notice that it's at an angle. And there are some properties at an angle, but even B, which is a bit on an angle, is set way far off of the street. And it's so far back that B provides a lot of room for them to make a turn in the driveway and provide a opening there. C is not quite far as back, but if you just look at the volume of driveway between C, B, and A, the Buckings have very little driveway, and this is what it is now. And Mr. Buckingham can address during the speaker's time about what happened, because the driveway's been built, okay? He wasn't aware about this, but we can deal with that. So anyway, I was thinking about the rules about the width of the driveway, and the first thing that comes to mind is the rules probably to not take away driving spaces, or any rule is for safety. Safety, aesthetics, and conformity are the three things that come to mind why we have rules, okay? Well, it obviously doesn't take away any parking because there is no parking there. In fact, the alternative would take away parking if he were to take the driveway out to spot on 3, that would take away 1 or 2 parking spaces. Okay, the second is I think about, you know, the old saying, tear down paradise and put up a parking lot. Concrete, blacktop, or whatever, that creates runoff. Ground is better than concrete, or because it can soak in and it doesn't have runoff. Well, if you look at all of these driveways, the Buckingham have the least amount of runoff, or because they have the smallest, tiniest driveway. I will tell you that the people across the street, I, J, and K, they don't have huge driveways, but they're still bigger than the Buckinghams. And what they did is create more space, and what they did in the past to park, if they had things, is they would park in that where their number 3 is, or somewhere around there, and either have to walk in the street because there's no sidewalks, or walk through mud to their house, or again, they could put a sidewalk in, and again, there would be more hard surface and less soft ground surface, and soft ground surface is better on that. So talk about the zoning criteria. The first one, the variance requested is due to unique circumstances inherent to the specific piece of property and not personal considerations of the property owner. If you look at all these things here, you can see how close the house to A is to the street. Look at house number L. Okay, that's another house that's at an angle, but the driveway comes out of the side, and that driveway is, 4 times or 5 times as long as the Buckingham's driveway. So I mean, this is still a very unique. It's real hard pressed to find anybody that close. I don't know why it was built that way, but that's what happened. The variance is not needed as a result of an affirmative act of the property owner that could have been avoided through a different course of action. Okay. The driveway's been built. Sorry. Mr. Buckingham's going to explain about that whole process of how that came about. But we believe that whether it's built or not, the expansion of the width of the driveway is necessary to accommodate this property owner for safety reasons, to have more cars on the driveway and not having them park on the streets. Think of just our snow and how important it is to keep our cars off of the street when we have big snows. The variance would not merely grant a special benefit to the property, that's number 3. The variance would not merely grant a special benefit to the property owner beyond what is enjoyed by other properties regulated by the same set of zoning regulations. Even as expanded, this does not give Mr. Buckingham some great big huge driveway. Just look at the amount of driveway you have in 3. Think of how many how many cars could be parked on B or C or even D, which is one of the smaller ones. All of those could park twice as many cars as the Buckinghams, even as configured. The application of such non-use regulation would result in practical difficulties to the property owner. I know I can't talk about the fact that he would have to tear up what was already built. Or I can, but I just did. But it would require him to park at least 1 more car out on the street, if not 2, if this variance was not granted. So those are the zoning variance criteria, and I think this map it was just awesome. Just look at this. Everybody's got driveway. The poor Buckinghams don't, and even now with the wider driveway, they still don't have that much. But and aesthetically, I don't see how it being wider affects the aesthetics at all here. There might be some street view pictures, but I don't think there would be a strong argument on that. I think, based on the order, I think Mr. Buckingham has to speak as a public, unless, because don't you speak, or do you want to? You can speak now. Well, I know there's a time limit and all. Okay. Well, I think it'd just be more efficient while we're talking about it. Why don't you tell them exactly how you came about building this?
I let you run over.
Pardon?
I let you run over your 5 minutes.
Well, that was very nice of you, but I was like, 5 minutes for an attorney?
That's right.
That's a record. Anyway, Thank you, gentlemen. I apologize. I'm not sure how I'm supposed to address the board.
Did you put a card up?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Are you sworn in, or?
Yes, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear to affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God.
Yes, sir, I do.
All right. Please state your name.
Noel Buckingham.
Okay, and your address is the subject property?
Yes, sir. 1 Vicksburg Station.
Proceed.
All right, and I brought these. I just happened to come from work, so sorry about my zoot suit. I literally just came straight from work. I have some pictures from the day that it happened. I don't know if you guys would like to see these, or
I would.
Okay. Yeah. So first one is actually what it looked like, and I assure you, this actually looks better than it did. It's a good picture. Then actually, we put in a stamped driveway, and if I could, I would just like to mention. So I had three separate proposals from 3 different companies. And each specific one, not being an expert on this subject, I asked each company, I said, do I need to get a permit for this? And they all 3 said no. I didn't know about variances, I didn't know about codes, thought I was doing the right thing by at least inquiring. So they did it, it's beautiful. I arguably have the prettiest driveway in all of Heritage Subdivision. Stamped driveway. Mr. Veit didn't mention from the edge of our driveway, and when we're talking about 60 feet, that's the apron, is that the correct word, where it actually meets the street. The entire driveway is not 60 feet wide. I had them kind of go with the lay of the land. I call them wings. My wife before this would love to just drive through the yard when she's going out into the street. So I had them kind of do the wings, for lack of a better word. I don't know what the word is. I'm not a concrete guy. But the way our lot is, it's very long, very thin, and if you kind of see where Mr. or whoever made this, I'm sorry, I don't know who made this, where the one is, from the edge of our driveway where it wings out nice and far, there is 84 feet from the edge of the concrete to the property line. From my understanding, there's a 15-foot easement. So 84 minus 15 still gets me to 69 feet from the edge of the driveway where it literally wings out wide. So there's plenty of space there. I apologize, I had no idea. I would have requested a variance before because I do believe this is the best layout for our lot. To provide ample parking, if we have family over, Christmas, holidays, whatever, we do have multiple cars that need to get into the driveway. I don't know if you can see from the picture, we don't actually drive all the way to the back. We actually put a little fire pit and some chairs out and things like that. I saved the 2, I believe they're oak trees. I'm a pest control guy, I'm not a tree specialist, but I believe they're oak trees. Saved the 2 oak trees that were there, put some lighting around it. It's beautiful. When we actually had this done, we had so many people just stop by as they're driving and go, oh my God, this looks fantastic. So compared, let me back up 1 second. So I did the proverbial, I tried to buy the worst house in the nicest subdivision. And I put a lot of time, effort, blood, sweat, tears into making this home a much greater improvement than what we purchased before when we got it, if that makes sense. Anything else? Trying to think what I could add to this.
Could you go over those measurements again? What?
Yes, sir.
I don't understand what you're talking about.
So,
Can you guys pull up this picture on the screen?
Yeah,
We could put it down here.
Don't you have it on your, it's in our packet.
I think it's in our
It's in
packet.
our packet. I want that picture that's in our packet up on the screen, because I got questions about it too. I think that way we can all
That one.
yes, sir.
understand what we're talking about.
So do you want me to wait till the picture's up, or do you want me to? Oh, I'm not even looking over it.
Yeah, I got a taste out of the packet. They just flip right to it. Technology at its best.
Is this the picture we're looking for?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, that way we
I'm
can.
sorry, yes.
Yeah, it's just, here's
Yes,
the
that one.
nice pretty picture, but they put it in our
Yeah,
packet.
it's gonna take them a couple minutes, but they're working on
Yeah,
it.
there, it's in our packet. It's a nice looking driveway.
Mm-hmm.
But you can put that, whatever photo you want under that, they can project that.
Oh, this here? Yeah, I don't have any photos or anything.
But if you want the packet, you can pull it.
Okay.
You could, if you wanna.
See that, but that doesn't show the edge. I can put that under. Let's see. I guess sort of. Let me put it here.
We'll see, they might, it looks like they're getting ready to get the packet up.
Oh, they pulled up the packet.
Keep going.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, they have that. Let's keep going.
Keep going.
Is it a part of the staff report?
Yeah, you sent it to us. That one right there, stop.
Oh, perfect. You don't need to do
Yeah,
that.
stop.
Is it okay if I walk?
Yeah,
walk
sure.
over there?
Yes,
or- Okay,
sure.
so this is actually the concrete guys when they came to seal the driveway, so that's not my trucks or anything. But prior to this, if we needed some additional parking, that's literally where we had to park, because there is no on-street parking. But from that edge here, like I said, you probably can't really tell from the picture, but it does wing out kind of wide. From the corner of the driveway to our property line is 84 feet.
back that way.
Right, yeah, past the trucks, so in that direction.
And-
84 feet, and, like somebody wrote, oh, there's a 15-foot easement. Yeah, property line's 84, easement 69 feet. It's still 69 feet, we could probably park 5 cars along there, 4 cars. But that was the limit of our parking, so this looks nice and long. My truck, if I park right here, my truck goes from here to here. I've got my midlife crisis in the garage, and then my wife parks in the garage.
Give me, so how deep is your driveway from the garage to the street?
To be honest, I don't remember. This is kind of dragging on for a long time.
15, just give me a 15
Oh, from
feet,
the
20
garage to the
feet?
street?
Yeah.
I want to say 30 feet, and keep in mind that the distance from here to here is much different than here. to
Yeah,
here.
yeah,
I
the-
don't remember the exact.
But right from your, in front of your garage is 30 feet. This
Yeah,
is,
and the house does not sit parallel to Heritage Landing, it's at an angle. So the whole thing is just,
Your truck, your truck. What kind of truck?
oh, I'm sorry, it's a Super Cab F-150, Super Cab. So, big but not ginormous, but I literally try to get towards the street and I'm almost to the tree here. I mean, it takes up virtually the whole driveway.
how many cars do you guys own?
We own 3 personally. Plus, if we have family come over, that's where it got difficult. Like, for example, my wife's daughter came in town this afternoon, and I am certain when I get home, I should have said over here. I am certain when I get home, she will probably be parked here. Like, there's really no way to get a car back here unless we pulled in this way and went that way. It's more for aesthetics. I wanted to keep those 2 beautiful trees. Oh, it looks like 1, it's actually 2. You know, we put a fire pit and some seating there for the fall and spring weather, whatever. And at one point in time, when we were doing some remodeling of the house, I had a Mustang that I parked right there. So it literally will only fit a Mustang in that spot. It's not a big, gigantic. Driveway.
What don't you like about the city's proposal to put a planter in the front?
Because perfect example, if my wife's daughter comes in town right now, she wouldn't be able to park there. And I know it's a small thing, and like I said, it's 60 feet wide at the street, but I think 30 feet is the rule. I said, I did a lot of this from memory. 30 feet gets us to here. The whole thing is not 60 feet wide. It's not 60 feet, 60 feet. It's 60 feet.
From the, yeah.
38 feet from memory. It's not as big as it sounds. And if there was I think if Heritage was built in 2025, every one of those houses would have 3-car driveways. 3-car garages, 3-car driveways. It's a nice subdivision, and I didn't want to take the time or the expense of adding a garage. But we'll just throw some extra parking there, make it beautiful, and do a nice stamped driveway. I filled it in, it's got lighting around it now.
Now, point to me where you want to do this extended concrete.
That's it.
Yeah, it's already done.
He's not adding it. That's what it.
It's already done.
Yeah,
We're not talking about
a
adding-
retroactive
Gotcha,
variance. 'Cause
okay.
Like I said, I didn't know. I literally would have walked in here prior to doing this had I known. In my words, it was, hey, do we need a permit for this? No. Nobody said, no, but code is X, Y, Z, and you're gonna need a variance. I had no clue. I would have been happy to have done that.
So it's in, but it wasn't in when you bought the place.
Correct, yeah, it was like I said, if you look at the picture with the asphalt, That's a great picture, because it did not look that good. It was horrible.
Well, that driveway looks good.
Thank you, sir.
So what significance do you think there is for you pointing out that from the end of your driveway, you have another 60 or 80 feet to the end of your property line?
In my head, I guess, if there was a house right next door, I would probably be encroaching on their lot. I would be taking up every single square inch of space. So, like I said, in my head, part of my, not argument, like I said, I'm not an attorney, I don't do this for a living, but no house will ever be built there. There is nothing that will ever be there. And like I said, if this was just built out in the country somewhere without any planning and zoning or codes, nobody would have said a word. They'd be go, oh man, this is a really nice driveway. But now we have codes, and which I totally understand. I'm not arguing that. It's just retroactive on a variance, and like I said, if I had known, I would have done it. Now,
Where did you move from in 2018?
actually, I went through a pretty nasty divorce. I lived in High Ridge.
Okay.
So moved out this way. I was just tired of Jefferson County and love it out here. Love it, love it, love it.
Yeah.
Is that a double garage?
2-car garage, yes, sir.
So may I ask a question?
Sure.
I'm looking at the topographical map, and I see that the contours are every 2-foot contours, and there's a huge slope across that lot. I see that from the front door to the back, it drops 8 or 10 feet. And I see the neighbor over on lot A has the same elevation around their front door. Did you involve an engineering company when it came to putting this driveway in?
I did not.
The first thing I think they would have done is look at these topographical things. And that is the point at which you would have probably been told, you're either going to have to apply for a variance or you're not. These concrete guys led you down a path.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the last thing.
They led you down a path by giving you incorrect advice. And I understand you didn't know what you didn't know. But I'm looking at this from an engineering standpoint. And the house is built right there because that was the best engineering solution for the way these contours are going across this property. I assume that you have a big retaining wall holding up that back part of the driveway?
Since April of 2024, $60,000.
Yep,
Yes, sir.
I don't doubt it was, I'm not surprised it wasn't more. And you did not have a permit for building that retaining wall
Oh, yeah.
from the county?
The retaining wall company did everything. And I know they applied for it.
So there should be a record of that in the county records.
Presumably, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So, but the driveway was there long before the retaining wall. I literally had to cut my deck off. The deck posts were actually, we got an invisible fence put in a few years ago. And when I was along Vicksburg Station looking this way at my backyard, I was like, the deck posts are literally starting to pull. And if anybody's familiar with Heritage, they have actually had to knock down 2 houses
Yeah,
in Heritage.
you got a heck of a slope back there.
Hence the retaining wall, yes, sir.
It sounded to me like you said the driveway got put in before the retaining wall?
Well, the retaining wall is in the back.
Oh, so what's holding up that back right corner as we're looking at the picture?
Oh, yes, that was put in before. And once again, the wall guy said if it's below 4.5 feet or something like that.
4 feet or something
we
like
didn't
that,
need
you're
one, so
allowed
we
to do
actually
it.
made it that tall.
Okay, yeah.
And then you got steps that go down, or does it just fall off the cliff?
We should have had a field trip to my house.
Yeah.
So we actually had to put a retaining wall in the front, which you obviously can't see here, at the front door. Every time it would rain, because we live basically below the street grade, every time it rained, literally we'd have to get the hose out and get the mud off of our brick front porch. So we had one put in right there, and it's 3 feet high, whatever it is. And the company did such a good job, like, hey, it's wintertime, we're trying to keep our guys working. And we ended up putting one on that side, which we do not really walk down that side. But on this side of the house, on the far side, we put a retaining wall in with steps. And like I said, prior to us putting in the giant, massive retaining wall in our backyard, that was the only way really to get down to the backyard, and it was still a mess. It's still a mess.
Did they have to fill before they put that 4-foot retaining wall there? Did they have to fill some dirt? Because it's kind of close when I look at this contour map. And it's almost as
They
if,
did gravel, the gravel and geogrid. Did I say that right?
so they may have pumped up what the natural elevation was so that the retaining wall would not require a permit.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
I'm just sort of stating a fact here. It appears, and I'm hoping that maybe you guys can bring some enlightenment to me. I'm wondering if they built up the ground with gravel or whatever so that the retaining wall they built didn't require a permit. If they'd have built down to the ground, it would have been over 4 feet and it would have required engineering and a permit.
Correct, yeah, they did not build it up to build the wall. They just built the wall and then filled in.
Okay, well, maybe, okay.
And I have pictures, not with me, of course, but.
Any other questions of this gentleman? Thank you, sir.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate your time.
The county, solution to put would be put the planter on up by the trucks are at, that side of the street.
Yeah,
Correct, correct.
Talking like right here. So actually, the way I envisioned it in my head, because it came as a letter, I envisioned that they wanted something right here. So
Like up to the tree, up to like about the tree.
Yeah, well, the way I read it, which may be wrong, that's when I contacted Mr. Biden, I'm like, this isn't gonna work. Or no, I guess we had already talked about that. But in my head, because there were no instructions with it that I know of, I assumed they wanted something here, so we just couldn't park there at all, was my understanding. Which may have been incorrect, but that was my understanding.
Yeah, that's correct.
It was to
That's
take
what
away
you-
the parking spot, which was
Yeah,
one of the
like
benefits that he wanted to get would be gone. I mean, it's not the patio, it's one.
And yeah, in one of the aerials, and like they mentioned, they said there was like a fire pit and
Yeah.
it would effectively just make it a patio.
And currently, no one is even parking there, but like I said, on a holiday, or sometime we have family over, including just random luck, my daughter-in-law, they're all adults, so we don't call them daughter-in-law, but, my stepdaughter, you know, she wouldn't even be able to park there, she couldn't park on the street, she would literally be parking over here and then walking around. I mean, to get rid of a parking space, to me, seems silly. I mean, I don't mean that to sound harsh, but it would be nice to have a parking spot from time to time. If we have family over, we could, you know, Christmas, we can put, you know, one vehicle, we can put 4 or 5 cars there total, instead of just being able to put 1 or 2. Because my truck's gonna be there no matter what, because we have 2 cars in the garage. So we would literally only be able to put my truck, possibly 1, 2, maybe a third. And we have a lot of people, where we still have people parking on Vicksburg Station.
Any other questions or comments? Is there anyone else who wants to speak for or against this request? If not, I'm going to close the public hearing. Do you have anything from
Yeah,
you guys?
yeah.
And
We already did a pretty good job of setting the context and everything. I was just trying to
Okay.
run through the 4 requirements that we have for, our 4 criteria for
Yep.
variances. And the first one is the variance requested due to unique circumstances inherent to the specific piece of property and not to personal considerations of the property owner. As we already kind of talked about, the property is similar in size and shape to what I would say normal corner lots in a single-family residential subdivision. The one unique feature, of course, is the topography in the southern part, but I don't think that's related to the driveway itself. So therefore, county staff recommends a finding that unique circumstances do exist inherent to this specific parcel, but not to the extent to justify a driveway exceeding the maximum width in conformance with county requirements. The second criteria is the variance not needed as a result of an affirmative act of the property owner that could have been avoided through a different course of action. As the applicant alluded to, he was told that no permit was required for a driveway, which is true. We do not permit flat work on private property. You do need a permit from the highway department to connect to public right-of-way. But unfortunately, it's still the owner's responsibility to comply and check with local departments and local codes to make sure that everything is compliant. Specifically, as we talked about too, we did provide an alternative solution to the property owner to do the planter to effectively make that back portion like a patio area and not just a driveway, and then that way no one has to tear out concrete or do any stuff like that. So therefore, county staff recommends a finding that the variance is needed as a result of an affirmative act of the property owner that could have been avoided through a different course of action. The third criteria is that the variance would not merely grant a special benefit to the property beyond what is enjoyed by other properties regulated by the same set of zoning regulations. As you see in the exhibit, surrounding properties have maybe longer driveways, but smaller driveways in terms of width that still comply with the zoning standards of the county. Just for context, I know that the way that the house sits kind of makes it difficult, but the surrounding property owners found a way to make it work within the zoning rules. So county staff recommends a finding that the variance would grant a special benefit to the property beyond what is enjoyed by other properties in the R1E zoning district. The fourth and final criteria is implying the regulation, in this case the driveway width ordinance, would it create a practical difficulty for the property owner? While staff understands the challenges of changing the driveway, based on the alternative suggestion that we provided that would solve the code case and effectively made it so that this variance request was not needed, that could have been pursued, so no practical difficulties really exist to the property owner. So approving this variance in the county's eyes would grant a special benefit to the property owner. So in conclusion, county staff recommends denying the variance since the application has not met any of the four criteria found in section 405-590 of the Unified Development Ordinance. As you know, the board, you can choose to approve or deny. If you choose to approve the variance, staff just ask that you approve it with the conditions listed in the staff report.
And what conditions are those?
Let's see.
On page 3.
Page 3. At the bottom.
Is there any approval, any zoning adjustment approvals for driveways that you guys know of? I've been on this board, I think 15, 20, I don't know, it's a long time. I mean,
Not off the top of my head.
We've done a foot or 2 feet or a few feet, but this is 20, right?
Yeah, not off the top of my head, I couldn't tell you with confidence, but yeah.
That's a lot.
How wide is the county's proposal for this planter? Like 15, 20 foot long, and how wide?
Effectively, you can go up to 40 feet by ordinance. With the way that the house is angled, that presumably wouldn't, that would be the width of the garage based on.
I guess I mean, if you're going width of the driveway, then how deep in do you want this planter to be?
It would have to be out of the public right of way. That would be the only real restriction.
Which would be how?
It's hard to tell because the roads aren't always perfectly placed in the middle of the right of way. I would probably say maybe 5 to 10 feet.
Okay, so it'd be a good
Yeah.
size, all right.
Explain item number 1 on page 3. The request of variance from shall be limited to the existing driveway. We're talking about an existing driveway.
Mhm.
Okay. The variance shall not allow further expansion of the existing or any future driveway.
But essentially, you can't expand the driveway as it exists currently.
As it exists currently,
Yeah,
not before. Okay.
should you approve it.
Is that it, Jerry?
Yeah, that's all I
Okay.
have.
Gentlemen?
And obviously, if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer.
I would entertain.
Would I be allowed like a half-minute rebuttal? I don't want to be argumentative.
Yeah, no,
The uniqueness of the property is.
I would say,
Oh,
so,
I'm sorry.
I'm still under oath. The uniqueness of the property is that that garage is extremely close to the street. I can't believe the far end it's very close, and it comes at an angle, and when you start talking about the width of the driveway, it's being measured it's not being measured this way, it's being measured this way, you know, a little bit of geometry. It's being measured this way by the city, and by the county. I believe that makes sense if it's a street where you are allowed parking. But this street, you're not allowed parking on the street. So the significance of the width, there are a lot of other reasons why the significance, but when it comes in at an angle, and you're talking about it, it's not as wide as it seems. It's a three-car width driveway with a two-car garage. You know, I believe theoretically, if he built the third garage where there's on top of a retaining wall and stuff, and built this whole thing there, he might even be in compliance, but we won't go there. So it is unique. That's the point, is it's unique because of the way it just comes at such an angle and how close it is, and I think this picture shows that. So that's all I want to say, when he said it wasn't unique.
I thought I heard that Vicksburg, you could park on Vicksburg, but you couldn't on Heritage Landing.
Correct.
Is that correct?
Yes.
May I ask a question about the planter, the proposed planter? Is it going to take up a parking space? It's just basically going to be a block where you would want to park?
Yes, if it, like I said, I don't know exactly the dimensions. It's not a-
But it would block
one of the
that part of
spots.
your driveway where you were intending to park.
We don't even park there. When we remodeled our kitchen, I had the,
No, he's correct. He wants to be able to park there when needed, so he doesn't have to park on the street.
Right.
if and when.
There would not be often, but it would be that, and it's like,
And this would take up that parking area,
yeah.
this proposed
Yes,
thing?
sir.
Unless this, and I want Jared to confirm, would you agree that on the far right side? the
Yeah,
planter
yeah.
Would eliminate the parking spot?
Correct, yeah.
Okay. I
It-
think we're in agreement there.
Yeah.
Okay, it would eliminate the parking pretty much to the right of the tree?
Unless you came in and went around the tree, I guess.
Yeah, and then that's where we have the fire pit.
So there'd be no access to the right of the tree as you're facing the house if they were to put that would be a big waste of concrete, wouldn't it?
Oh, I'd say.
Yeah, and like I said, I hate to, I'm not trying to be argumentative, but the county's, like I said, I don't know if I have the right terminology, the county's proposal, oh, you can keep the driveway but put a planter there, I don't understand what the
What's
issue is.
accomplished by that?
So,
But he
I
would
guess,
comply because he's not.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then
So we're
financially, I don't know what I would do
We'll
if.
Put up a planter if that's what he has to do.
Yeah, I'll put it up if I have to. I would prefer not to. But yeah, if it came down to something more drastic, like you need to cut out driveway, you need to do X, Y, Z, I'd go, I just built a $60,000 wall. I own a pest control company, and January was not nice to pest control companies, obviously. So I will comply with whatever. I'm hoping that the board sees that it's kind of it is a unique situation. The neighbors across the street, yeah, they do have this driveway that was probably put there in 1978 or whatever it was, but they don't have any room. They have no room to add on to it, or they would be in their neighbor's yard. There is no additional room to add on another third car, if you will. Like I said, I would have asked for a variance had I known. In my head, it was, I've got 84 feet over there, I got plenty of room. That's after the driveway. Before the driveway, I probably had over 100 feet. And it just, in my head, it made sense. I didn't realize I needed to request a variance beforehand, so, thank you.
All right, thank you. May I have a motion of approval for variance number VAR 24-?
I got a question for the attorney.
Okay.
If we approve this, what, is there a precedent set that every Tom, Dick, and Harry's gonna?
No,
Because my yard's weird too, so now I'm gonna want the same thing. 'cause-
yeah, well, I think it would just be an analysis like on a case-by-case basis. That's how we kind of look at these things. It really is with the variance, very unique. Each property is unique and has its own set of circumstances. So perhaps if you had the big slope and the close end, there'd be a lot of similarities. But I think we look at these each case-by-case basis. I don't think it would set any sort of dangerous precedent here. That's just mine.
No, I wouldn't say for staff itself it wouldn't. Maybe for the general public itself. I don't know if that makes sense.
And if you're moving for approval, I just want to make sure you qualify that you're going to move for that with the conditions that were recommended by the staff as well.
Well, we hadn't got that far.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had a question first.
We don't
We
have to
agree
do
those
that.
conditions.
That's fair. I just wanna make sure we do that.
Is there anything like this in that subdivision anywhere else? Probably nothing that large.
Yeah, not that I'm aware of. I will say, for context, this is the result of a code case due to resources. We got 4 planners. We do zoning enforcement based on online complaints, phone-in complaints, so we don't have the staff or resources to actively look for zoning violations, so this is how this came about, so.
So we need to talk about whether or not there were letters sent in.
There was one from
One from
The
the,
homeowners association.
yeah.
a stated member of the homeowners association.
Did you know you need to get approval from your homeowners association for certain things?
Yeah, I mean, I know the HOA has a list of things, but the driveway specifically, I
It's part of the package, our letters of support.
I didn't receive any. We can.
No, I mean, we filed it, we attached a bunch of emails to it.
We did, staff didn't receive those emails. You can, if you have them, you.
It says on your email, but there's no, I didn't get any attachments. Your email said there was,
This is my first time doing this electronically. That's interesting.
So I am still requesting a motion to approve this variance.
motion to approve with, we have to do this anyway to get going,
Yeah.
to approve with the two
Two
county
conditions.
conditions.
Okay. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Jack, how do you vote?
4.
Huh? 4?
Yeah.
In favor? And you, young man?
I guess I'm gonna vote for this. Yes.
David?
No, the pressure's on me.
Yep. Actually, it's on me.
That's true. Well, I could end it right now, so.
Yes.
I'll make my comment. I don't like this because it's just way, I mean, if this was 2, 3, 4, 5 feet, I've done that before. I mean, this is huge. I hope it doesn't set a precedent.
The HOA doesn't like it.
Yeah.
But the HOA didn't say whether or not they liked putting a planter in the middle of that
Well, that's true.
thing
That's,
either.
Anything that would be, that would probably have to approach the HOA to get a planter put in there.
yes.
And I'm yes, so that's a unanimous yes.
Boy.
I don't either.
Tell all your friends and neighbors they always need to check with the county, no matter what the concrete people say.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, you gotta check with the county.
well, and so often it costs people a lot of money because,
Yeah.
you know,
I mean,
we
we're
don't-
both thinking, man,
You've already had to have Richard here and at least twice.
I think a lot of people are gonna learn from this, not just him. We did have letters of support for this.
Yeah, I mean, if you
No,
want.
We don't need them now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, absolutely.
Those are from neighbors.
You all right?
He's feeling like I am.
Are you a smoker?
sounds like it. Alrighty.
All right, thank you. Only thing we have to do now, wait a minute, we got to elect
Two other things, yeah.
2 members. Yeah, I've covered them up with all this paperwork. Bear with me a minute. Da-da. You did such a good job of lightening it up, and then I covered up. Well, I think your driveway is very attractive, by the way, from these pictures.
I'm gonna need one soon, but I don't think I wanna use any of these three contractors.
No.
They did a great job, they just didn't come to check for variance. But they didn't do a great job because that's part of the job.
Thank you, gentlemen.
You bet.
Yes, sir.
Thank
for
you.
your time.
Enjoy your place without a planter.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I thought this was a very difficult.
I'm gonna lose sleep tonight.
Oh, I'll sleep in it.
Well, you felt in bed for it.
Huh?
How does the asphalt look?
Boy,
How the concrete?
I got up there too quick, I couldn't tell.
Do we got anything else? We didn't have any minutes from last time, did we? didn't
Well,
have-
we have to, since it's, Yeah,
we
since
have
it's
to
the first
elect
meeting of
officers.
the
I'm
year,
still fumbling for
I know we
a
only
piece of
have like
paper.
one meeting a year. We have to elect officers, and then we have to approve the minutes from the last two meetings.
We approved the minutes last, I guess when I.
We couldn't because we had,
We had
we
three
didn't have
people,
quorum,
that's
yeah.
right.
See, I would never remember that.
So we got to elect a president, a vice chairman, and a secretary?
Yeah, chair, vice chair, and recording secretary.
Yep.
And I get, correct me if I'm wrong, you do,
Aha.
for whatever reason, if you so choose, you could nominate someone who's not here, presumably, right? Am I right there?
You could.
Yeah.
You still want to be chair, Jerry?
I'll be happy to if you guys want me
I'll
to.
make a motion to Jerry, chairman.
Second.
I guess we gotta vote on that, aye?
Aye.
Okay,
Who wants to be vice chairman?
how about,
Whatever you guys want me to do, I'm happy to do it. I mean, I'm happy being secretary, or if you wanna still be vice chair.
Yeah, I was vice chair.
Excuse me.
Don't bother me.
That's fine.
okay, let's just put those in. Chairman, me, vice chair, David, and
Secretary Kevin.
secretary Kevin. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Seconds, yes. All in favor, aye.
I think that meets Robert's rules.
Yes.
It's fine.
He's
The
not
quick-
here.
He put his head down.
The quick version.
Robert's not even here.
Just for record keeping, who motioned and who seconded that?
I could, Kevin motioned for me,
Okay,
and I motioned for Kevin.
okay,
I seconded all of it.
okay.
And Jack was our second
How
in
about
command.
It works this way.
Okay, we
It's
got,
on camera, so somebody will take us to court.
that's right.
And, motion approved, what do we got?
2 minutes,
Guys, I put an
two
agenda.
separate meetings, I think.
What was the first meeting? That's not in here on the.
August 1st, 2024.
Motion to approve those minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, next
Motion
one.
to approve the
October
December.
3rd.
October 3rd.
2024, yeah.
Motion to approve those.
Second.
All in favor?
All in favor, yeah.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, got that one. What else we need?
Motion to adjourn.
Sure, yeah.
Second?
I think we
Do
got,
we have anything else?
I
Yeah,
thought we,
we have a new planning and development representative, Lori Hayes, so.
Hi, Lori.
Uh,
Got anything to say something to us?
Would you
I
like?
told her she wouldn't have to be on camera or speak tonight,
Now
so.
you
How many
know-
members do we have? Do we back up to
6
7 or 6?
or 7. Yeah, we have 2 alternates and 5 board members. So,
now as you can see, we need a lot of guidance, so,
So let me may I ask a quick question?
oh, why don't you knock the head
Your
off
nose-
that?
Your nose came off.
Wow.
Feel ready to give it to Jerry.
The, I'm listed as an alternate. Can I be the secretary?
You're listed as an alternate?
I'm listed as an alternate
You should be
here.
an
I
alternate.
thought.
I didn't think
that
I
might-
was-
That might be a.
it might be a
He's
tie.
right.
We
I
could
think
double
that's-
check.
Jerry's been on here longest, I'm second longest, then Kevin,
No, I think
then,
you're,
and then
we'll
Vic,
check and make sure. That might be an error.
and then Vicky have been on it the longest,
Yeah.
so they should be the regular members.
We'll look up the official
We'll check.
appointment
Well, you're
document.
gonna, don't disappoint me.
Right,
Don't write a song and sing it.
That's right. I'll bring a guitar to the chambers.
but that'd be good. Any other business?
Nope.
Okay, we're good, okay.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
I think this meeting is adjourned.
Wow, 8?
Thank you for everybody's help.
Let's try and get
Full
5
hour.
next time.